So let's dive right in and look at your first oracle card. So you were drawn to card 32, Temple Secrets, and I'm immediately just honing right in on the number on this card, the 32, which is interesting because I don't think that's happened in the other readings where the number seems like very significant. So, well, 32 might be significant to you. You might be 32 years old. It could be something like that. It could even be the number 23 that is significant, and that these numbers are in reverse. So for some of you, that could be true. I am thinking that this has a lot to do because the 32 reduces to a 5. 5s carry with them the energy of change. I'm getting a feeling that this change has a lot to do with how your spiritual gifts are meant to change you, are meant to help you to grow and evolve. But I'm also seeing this image of like a stone being thrown into like a still pool of water where there's a ripple. So I feel like this is about a ripple effect. Like your gifts are meant to help you to grow and evolve, but there's also a ripple effect where others are meant to benefit from these gifts that you've been given as well. I feel like for some of you, you may feel like an awakening or waking up to your spiritual side has changed you at your core. Almost like I'm getting the feeling like you'll never look at life the same way. You'll never be able to unsee things the way that you have now seen them, is how this is coming through. The main reason that you have the giftings that you do is to help you grow and evolve as a spiritual being. I feel very strongly that you came, this is kind of heavy. It feels like you came to this plane of existence with a mission, is how it's coming through. Even if that mission isn't totally clear to you right now, it's like you came with a mission. There's a lot of purpose behind this energy that I'm feeling. I was picking up on a heavy purpose in reading number 2 as well. It's a different energy, so it's weird. It's not the same energy at all. It does not feel the same. But the way that I'm describing it is very, very similar. We'll see how many similarities there are, and I will say if you felt drawn to that reading, maybe look at it, but this does feel different to me. Yeah, your gifts are a huge part of your personal evolution. Okay, many of you, this is really interesting. I don't know why this is coming through. Many of you have had multiple past lives, and you may have even been described at times as an old soul, or have felt like you're an old soul. I feel like some of you, even as kids, were described as an old soul, and you were like, what does that mean? I'm only 5. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling. You might have memories, and for some of you, these are very vivid memories of a past life, or you may have even had the experience where you've met people that you are just sure that you somehow have connected with in a past life. And I feel like in some way we're kind of dancing around it. I'm trying to sift through this energy and figure it out, but I feel like this connection that you have to past lives and past life recall is connected to your spiritual gifts in some way, and that this is able to help both you and others heal from past life trauma, past trauma in general. So it doesn't have to be past life, it can be in this lifetime, but past trauma. It can help to end karmic cycles and cut cords that bind us to past versions of ourselves that no longer resonate with us. This is how your spiritual gifts can be used, or this is one way that your spiritual gifts can be used to clear away old patterns, to cut cords. To undo is how it's coming. To undo. So I don't know what gifts you identify with. I'm already getting that there's something here with past life recall being one of your spiritual gifts, and I know that you're meant to invoke change. So yeah, I don't know how it ties in for you, and we might reveal more spiritual gifts that you might resonate with, but I'll tell you, whatever it is, there's some ability to undo, to help people move on from the past, heal traumas of the past. And this, for a lot of you, is coming from a lot of personal experience as well, because I feel like this is a journey that you have been on as well, cutting those cords. Really interesting. This mission that I was referencing, I feel like ending karmic cycles is a big part of this mission. Yeah. Wow, you guys, this is heavy. This is why this came through as a mission, because I feel like there's something, I'm hearing it starts and it ends with you. It starts and it ends with you. I don't know what that means. I kind of see this visually, but I feel like there's something about you where the spiritual gifts that you've been given, it's like, I feel like when, like, if this is an outside person, for instance, when they come into your presence, there's something about the gifts that you've been given that can put, even something that has a lot of momentum behind it, it can put that to an end. So if this is like negative cycles that have a lot of momentum built up behind them, these could be cycles that have even been going on for lifetimes. It's like it ends with you. I'm seeing you as this pillar as well. That might resonate for some of you, but it ends with you. And then I think the start is the start of something new, the start of this new cycle, the start of being able to move on from these traumas. Yeah, you guys might be some sort of trauma counselor if we're putting this into more practical terms. You may have been drawn to counseling people through traumatic events, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. This is your spiritual gift, so this is something that you are able to do through the giftings that you have automatically. Like, you're able to do this whether you've gone into a line of work that helps facilitate this or not. Wow, okay. This is a lot. This is a lot. You and number 2, you had a lot of messages coming through in the beginning. What I'm picking up on for you is that your spiritual gifts really, they make you extremely wise. So this might be that you feel like you're channeling information. We were talking a lot about channeling in the other readings. It hasn't come up directly here yet, but it might be that you're channeling information. It could be from these past lives where you've gotten all of this wisdom, but you're a very gifted advisor. No matter how this wisdom is coming to you, it could be through some sort of clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, something like that. I know there's psychic abilities at play here for you, but there's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of discernment when it comes to your gifts, and this is how you're able to use these abilities. You're able to discern, you're able to see the truth, you're able to see the essence, and you can apply that to your life. Okay, let's get deeper into this, because yeah, I wanted to find that more clearly for you. I feel like a lot of you are very introverted. No, I'm hearing pretty introverted. I don't know, there might be a distinction there for you. Very introverted or pretty introverted, but you have an introverted side to you, or you would identify as an introvert. It's like, I feel like you guys feel more energized and more at peace when you're alone or with a really small group of trusted friends or family. I'm hearing that if that's the case, that introverted trait is kind of your superpower. And it really helps you to amplify your psychic and your spiritual gifts. So if you have ever looked at that as a downfall or like a weakness of yours, it's not. I'm hearing that's your superpower. So definitely don't shy away from that. Don't go into like total hermit, because we all need some social interaction. I say that so reluctantly as an introvert, but you know, we all need social interaction. But yeah, that's definitely your superpower. So this is where you are able to connect more. This is where you're able to kind of gather up your energy. I just feel like you guys are so observant, like you guys see everything. And so you might kind of hang back because you like to observe, and this is part of how your gifts play in. You observe, you notice, you see the smallest detail. I honestly feel like you guys are extremely magical, for lack of a better word. Very magical people. You may have even explored actually practicing magic, casting spells, candle magic, things like that, which is really about directing your attention to bring about a particular outcome. This is also, this can also be called prayer. So like it's very interesting how similar these things are, but yeah, this can also be about prayer. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is about prayer, and this can be about some kind of magical pursuit, but it can also be about prayer. I like to call magic prayer with props sometimes. So it really is like, it's a form of prayer where you're directing your energy toward maybe a physical object or a group of physical objects, but it's like, this is coming through heavily for you. You're magically gifted in some way, and your prayer, how do I want to put this? Your spiritual gifts help you, it's not really so much that it helps you. Your spiritual gifts, whatever they are, they bring a certain potency to your prayers, and they make your prayers extremely powerful. You can move mountains through your prayers, is how it's coming through. Very, very powerful. Very powerful. I'm also getting really heavy clairaudient vibes from you guys. So we were talking about like potentially what some of these gifts might be. For some of you, that's a main gift that you have, clairaudience, being able to clearly hear messages from spirit, from divine. You also have the discernment to interpret the messages that you hear. So that's another kind of important factor there. The way this is coming through is that your prayers are so powerful because you're able to tap into exactly what a person or a situation needs. Like you're able to tap into what will heal that person or what will heal that situation. And this could be happening for you through clairaudient messages. It's like you receive messages from spirit, and then you in turn use prayer or your focused attention to communicate back to spirit. And it's that little dance right there. It's something that you do so naturally without even realizing that you're doing it. But it's that little dance that has the power to create massive change. Going back to that 32, that's where the change comes from. I hope that makes sense because it's very hard to explain. But there's a way that you communicate with spirit that is very unique, and this is something you can use your gifts to do. You are a brilliant co-creator with spirit because you really hold space for blessings to flow into the physical world. Your gifts make you really good at providing guidance, spiritual guidance, reading tarot even, spiritual counseling, astrology. These are all things that might appeal to you based on what it's feeling like your spiritual gifts are. You guys are definitely observers. You pick up on, like I was saying, the smallest little detail that would go unnoticed by most people. Some of the details that you observe are actually things that only you would pick up on because you're made aware of these details through your spiritual gifts. It's like having a sixth sense. But for many of you, I feel like that doesn't fully capture what's going on here. I feel like this is more like having a sixth, a seventh, an eighth sense, and maybe even more than that. So your gifts really help you to see what's hidden. You see what's beneath the surface. They help you to solve problems, to find solutions. I feel like you guys can sense when someone's in pain, that you can kind of draw things out of them, maybe even information out of them. People will open up to you, even if it's about something that they were trying to hide, they were trying to keep to themselves, you'll be able to see it and pick up on it. And you might even receive like auditory messages or a very strong intuitive feeling that someone is in need. Okay, I'm sorry you guys that I was apologizing in the second group too. There's so many messages coming through with the initial cards that I apologize for spending so long on that, but I was trying to like sift through the information and get these messages out to you. So we're looking at your second oracle card now, and we have the Elephant. Definite confirmation about those clairaudient abilities here. I am drawn to the elephant's large ears here. So this is definitely confirming the message that you hear messages from spirit. You are a protector in some way. This is a way you're meant to use your spiritual gifts to protect. I was already kind of getting this sense that you might feel called to stand up for like the underdog in a situation, or feel called to advocate for those who maybe don't have a voice or who aren't in a position of power. Some of you might feel pulled toward legal work, volunteering in some way, being an activist in some way. You are like truly a force. I'm hearing a quiet force. So that's interesting. Very perceptive, and not necessarily the loudest person in the room or the most boisterous, but you are powerfully connected, and that's where that like the power comes from. It doesn't necessarily come from you being like very attention seeking or very loud. I feel like you do draw a lot of attention without being loud. Or even when you're not being loud, you still draw a lot of attention. I feel like these gifts that you have really help you to connect with people on an individual and unique basis, and they kind of allow you to remember important details about people, and this makes it really obvious how much of a caring person you are. And I feel like this not only helps you connect with like new people in your life, like you'll get to know people, they'll see immediately how caring you are, but this also helps you to connect more deeply with your friends and your family members, because you're someone who actually listens. Back to the ears, you receive messages of all kinds, so you're used to listening. And I feel like this is something that has always been the case for you. You've always received these messages, so you might not even know like what a great listener you are, because you're always listening for messages and for insight. And you also listen when people talk to you. You actually listen to people. So you will listen, and you will pick up on the details of what someone's going through, what struggles they're having, what they're excited about, because you are hearing them when they talk. And I feel like what's coming through here is, on top of listening to them, I feel like you use your spiritual gifts to listen for them, because you're so tapped in, your intuition is so on point. And really just also back to that, the incredible amount of wisdom that you're able to hold within you, that actually helps you to guide people and to advise people, even if you don't realize you're tapping into a spiritual gift to provide that that guidance. You are, when you're connecting with someone, you are getting messages for them, and you are able to communicate that to them through the form of good advice, a listening ear, that kind of thing. Like, you're able to get those messages from spirit directly to people. I feel like you do this so naturally, which is such a gift. I feel like you just do that automatically. These gifts that you have, they allow you to break down obstacles, to just plow through barriers. This is what the elephant represents for me. And for that reason, you're kind of the type of person that people want to have on their team, because you're a warrior. I feel like saying you're a spiritual warrior. So there's something about this, like, people know that you care, that you listen, that you respond, that there's something intuitive about you. So this is how these gifts are playing into your everyday life. But also, you're going to find a way around any kind of barrier. You're going to speak up for someone who doesn't have a voice, and you're going to give them a way out. You're going to give them hope. You're going to give them a path and a vision, because you can see past whatever barrier might be standing in their way. You see what other people don't see. Another thing that's coming out here is that you see people's true colors. So I feel like your spiritual gifts act as kind of an alarm system for you. You can immediately tap into, like, this person has bad intentions, they've got a bad vibe. Like, you can tell somebody you need to stay away from that person, they have a bad vibe, or you can choose to distance yourself from someone with a bad vibe. It doesn't have to be all negative. This is also, you will feel immediately drawn to people who are resonating more on your level, who have more of a positive energy. You're also drawn to people that are in need of help, in need of assistance, in need of support. You're drawn there. So you are meant to use these gifts to help others. To see the truth, to see what's beneath the obvious is how that's coming through. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. I feel like so strongly that, like, you guys really do see, you can cut through any kind of, like, I don't want to be vulgar, but like the BS, you can really cut through the BS when it comes to getting to know people. You, like I was saying, you see people's true colors. It might be something that's very obvious to you, and other people don't realize it. Like, you might meet somebody and be like, oh, I can see what's really going on there, and the people around you might not realize it. They might be like, what do you mean? And like, it turns out you're right. This is how you use these spiritual gifts in your everyday life. We have the Hanged Muse in reverse. I feel like for a lot of you, the gifts that you have are like kind of destined abilities. It's only a matter of time if they haven't started to uncover themselves to you, but I feel like they probably have, but it's like, it's only a matter of time. The wheel shows kind of things reaching a turning point. It can be a sign of luck, and I feel like that's kind of the role that you play in other people's lives sometimes, because you show up right in the nick of time. There's something about your spiritual gifts that allow you to be able to tap into, like I was saying, when someone's in need, or when a situation might be going awry. So you have a tendency of showing up in the nick of time and kind of saving people, and it's like you're a good luck charm. I don't know if you realize that you are viewed that way, but I'm definitely getting that energy. People want to hear from you. They want to know what you have to say about things, because you have this ability to know what's really going on, to really like sift out, sort through the details of what's really happening there, even if it's not the same as what appears to be happening on the surface. So we have the Strength card, and we were talking about you being a spiritual warrior, and then the Strength card comes out. I can't think of another card better to represent kind of this feeling of warrior, this warrior strength. You use your gifts to provide strength and encouragement to everyone around you, and you help to remove walls and obstacles, and that lets people move forward, breaking people out of like that stuckness, that stagnancy, like we see here with the Hanged Muse in reverse. This is about forward momentum, where things were once stuck, where everything was still. So breaking people out of that is one of the practical ways that you use these gifts. You help people to move on. We were talking about ending karmic cycles and healing past trauma. You help people to move on to the next phase of their life and to not be caught in the past anymore. But I want to be clear about this. These spiritual gifts are not just for others to benefit from, if it's coming across that way. Not at all. This is something that you are meant to do in your own life as well, and probably something that you have been doing in your own life. But don't think for a second that you have to use your gifts just to help everyone else and not benefit from them yourself. You are able to clear things out, to close out cycles in your own life. You are able to help yourself to move on to new iterations of yourself, to evolve, to leave past traumas behind, to even leave people, relationships, and circumstances in the past that do not serve or benefit you. You have a really clear knowing when it's time to move on from things, when it's time to let go, when it's time to heal. You have this ability to know the timing of this. You're able to persevere, and you're able to to heal. Like I'm saying, with this Three of Voices, this is the Three of Swords in reverse. This is showing your ability to heal yourself and others, your ability to know when it's time to do so, your ability to, I feel like this is very important because this is about actually healing on a fundamental level. Sometimes people try to move on before the trauma's been healed, before the lesson's been learned, before they've been made whole. And you are the type of person, and your spiritual gifts allow you to know how to actually heal from these things, to make that that next step forward more meaningful and more permanent. Because if we don't truly heal and we try to move on, it won't last. It won't stick. And it's like you have a way of making it a permanent transition, a permanent change. And I also feel like you just connect really deeply with others. You feel their pain. You celebrate their successes, their wins with them. You provide encouragement. With this Two of Emotions, this is about deep connection and partnership. So you might be in a profession, or you might have the tendency to kind of partner with people to, there's a loyalty. I think that's the feeling I'm getting. There's a loyalty about you, and you use your gifts, and you're very loyal and committed to anyone who you're going to provide this guidance to. Real integrity behind what you do is how it's coming through. Let's see what else we can get with some oracle cards and see what other messages. We had Samaritan, so yeah. This is about helping others. That's so interesting, because a lot of your message is about helping others, and that's why I felt really called to tell you that your gifts can help and benefit you as well. They're not just something that you have to give away. It's something you will. You're a generous person. You want to help people, so you will give them away. But it's like maybe a little bit of a reminder to make sure to take care of yourself too. But it's just so interesting that the Samaritan card shows up. We have Detective. Okay, this is hilarious, you guys. Yeah, the details. This one. I'm trying to like kind of go back and think about the messages that were coming through, because there were a lot of messages coming through about you being able to observe the details, to see what other people won't see, what they can't see, to see what's really going on in a situation, or see people's true colors. So yeah, that's that detective energy. Very observant, very intuitive, and looking for the truth. That's an important quality in all of what I'm seeing here. You're a truth seeker, and I feel like you're not afraid to find it. Some people are really afraid to find the truth. You're not afraid to find the truth. You'll dig around in the shadows to find the truth, as long as it's going to help someone, as long as it's going to be beneficial, as long as it's going to be an important part of a healing process. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, you do this for others. You do this to help people. It's very funny because something's coming to mind. I feel like for a lot of you in your friend group, or with a good friend of yours or something, you're that person that they want to go and run by, like any potential romantic partner or something. It's like you'll be able to dig up the details on this person, find out what's really going on with them, if they're telling the truth about, you know, who they are and what they want and all of that. I feel like you're that person that can really really get into the meat of all those details and help someone to figure out, like, is this the right choice for me? Is this the right person? And it might not have to do with romantic partners. That's just an example. You are the type of person that helps people go through the details and really find their truth. I was going to say the truth, but it's beyond that. It's you find their truth. What's going to be right for them? Is this situation right for them? Is this person right for them? You have the ability to do that. Okay. Let's move on to the portion of the reading where we're going to look at what strengthens your spiritual gifts, and also what can stand in the way of your spiritual gifts. So we will start with what will strengthen your spiritual gifts. We have the Queen of Cups, the Four of Wands, and oh wow, the Queen of Pentacles. So two queens. That's kind of crazy. right away, it's like, I think maybe tapping into your feminine energy, no matter what gender you identify as, tapping into a feminine energy could be important to developing your spiritual gifts or strengthening your spiritual gifts. These queens also are representing a mother figure for me. So this might have to do with a mother figure in your life, someone that you can learn a lot from. You may be a mother. Yeah, this might be about, this is either about your mother or a mother figure in your life, or this is about you as a mother. So this could be that, like your children help to strengthen your spiritual gifts. They may have deepened your spiritual practice, awakened you to new ideas. Yeah, I do think that becoming a mother for a lot of you might have changed things for you. It might have deepened things. This can also be a message that you will learn a lot from your children. There might be something that you learned from your child that has helped to strengthen your spiritual gifts. That's really interesting. The Four of Wands can talk about homecoming, so this could literally be referring to going home to visit your mother. It might not have anything to do with your mother, it might just be about going home. For some of you, this is a mother and a grandmother for you. This is so interesting, you guys. There's a lot of messages coming through, but I'm kind of circling around something. I'm feeling like there's a message about getting back to your roots, and this being something that can strengthen your gifts. So this could be diving into like a religious or a spiritual practice that your family follows. It could be about connecting with your ancestors. Maybe, like I was saying, visiting your hometown, or visiting the country that your family originates from. I just keep hearing back to your roots. So there might be some kind of tradition that is calling to you, or some kind of desire to return to something that feels familiar to you, and that's going to strengthen your spiritual gifts. This can be about being in the presence of a mother or a mother figure, and there could just be a person in your life or people, because for some of you this is your mom and your grandma, I'm hearing. And there might be something that, some kind of spiritual practice that they're into, or that they have a lot of wisdom and knowledge about, and it's like you are feeling drawn to go to them, to hear from them, to study with them, something like that. Yeah, I lost my other train of thought. I'm sorry, but yeah, I feel like this might be about you spending time, that's what it was, spending time around this mother figure that can teach you, or this might even just be about comforting you. It might not be that you're going to learn directly, but there's just some sense of comfort and some sense of being at home and celebrating that really helps to just bolster this spiritual side of you. It helps you to tap back into the spiritual side of you. For some of you, I'm seeing that you literally want to put your feet on the ground, or put your hands in the earth. This is coming through so odd. And this can also be about the water. If you are from like a seaside town, or a place that's really close to the ocean or something like that, this is like you want to put your bare feet in the sand in your hometown, or you want to touch the earth in your hometown, and there's something about returning to home that will strengthen your spiritual gifts. That's kind of specific. I feel like that's something that some of you need to hear, and probably something that you might have felt like you were more connected then. This can talk about your childhood too. This could be that you were so connected when you were a child, and going back to that original place, those original and familiar surroundings can help to strengthen your spiritual gifts. Okay, let's move on from that. That was a lot. I feel like there's more. Let's look at what can get in the way of your spiritual gifts. Yeah, how are we wording this? Like, what factors can stand in the way of your spiritual gifts, or what can hinder them? So we have the Star. Focus. We have the Two of Wands. That's interesting energy. We have the Two of Pentacles. Is that not focusing? Come on. Two of Pentacles. Okay. You know what's so interesting? In one of the past readings, I had two twos. I don't remember what it was. It was probably the Two of Cups and the Two of Pentacles, but that was just really interesting. So again, we're looking at the number 2 being of significance. We had the 2 with 32. You guys, like, for some reason, 2, 3, and 4 were showing up for you. I feel like what might stand in the way of your spiritual gifts is your potential, is how this is coming through. How you have, like, you have so much potential with the Star card. It's like showing, it's showing so much hope. It's showing so much inner clarity for you. It's showing you really being in the spotlight in some way. And I feel like the main thing that can stand in your way is that you have so much potential that it can be difficult for you to decide what to pursue at any given time. With the Star card, really anything is possible, and I feel like that's kind of like a metaphor for, like, is that a metaphor? I feel like it's a metaphor for all the things that you're capable of when it comes to these gifts that you have. The sky's the limit. The potential is infinite, and it's because you're gifted in so many areas. There's so much potential inside of you that it can feel overwhelming. There's so many skills that you could develop or that you could pursue, and so many different ways that you could help people, that it could be that you find yourself in analysis paralysis. Sometimes with the Two of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, you're weighing your options, you're figuring things out. These are not very motion heavy cards. So it's like, yeah, you can get stuck in a state of analysis, especially because you are so observant. And I think that analyzing things is one of your strong suits. It's something that I think ties into just how you are as a person, how gifted you are as a person, and also it ties into your spiritual gifts. But because of that, it can also show up as a weakness of yours sometimes. You might tend to analyze this so much. You might tend to want to make the right step, you know, before you step at all, and just be in this place of, like, stuckness. But really, this isn't that bad. Like, yeah, you might not make a decision. You might not make a decision when you should. I'm just feeling like there's a tendency to not take action sometimes. But the thing about this is, for this to be what is potentially standing in your way, I feel like someone with as much potential as you have can easily overcome that, and it's not a state that you find yourself in all the time. It can just happen sometimes, but basically it's like you have so much potential. That's what can stand in your way, this amount of potential, and that's not so bad. That's actually a really good thing. That's a beautiful thing. So let's get some final messages for you, advice or something that can help to clarify some of these other messages that we had for you. There's a lot of messages for you because a lot of cards just fell out. Okay. I'm not going to be able to take any of those because it was so many. We'd be here all day. Let's see. Messages for number 3. We have the Flow card. Why am I hearing vinyasa flow for some of you? Are you guys, some of you are yogis. That could have to do with, there's your card on the floor. That could have to do with part of this energy that we were talking about to strengthen your spiritual gifts. This could be being in that flow or practicing your yoga flow. We have Purification. That's a beautiful card. That is so gorgeous. Okay. Let's see here. So I feel like with this flow card, I feel this sense of encouragement to kind of flow with the energy of your gifts. The energy of the full moon that is depicted on this card, first of all, gorgeous. It kind of shows me that when you hit your stride, when you begin to flow with your natural gifts, like, when you're really listening to that inner voice, you come into a state of fullness and completeness that it lets you really integrate all of this wisdom and all these lessons that you have almost been like storing up for several lifetimes. So it's interesting too, because this moon imagery, it's kind of mirroring this sun that's shown here on the strength card. So Leo energy with that strength card. And I feel like this is mirrored in some way, just showing the sun and the moon both full like that. It's kind of telling me that when you're in flow, you see both what is on the surface of a situation and what is hidden beneath with that sun energy and that moon energy, because you are highly perceptive when you're in that flow state. And I'm just hearing that some of you find this flow state when you're deeply immersed in a creative activity or in something that you're really passionate about. For some of you, it's yoga, because that came through when I was shuffling. But it could be like you're sculpting, for instance, or you're gardening or something like that. We were talking about putting your hands in the dirt or putting your feet directly on the ground. So that could be relevant to some of you. It could be when you're doing these things, whatever it is for you, I feel like you're going to know what it is, because this is the type of activity that you can do for hours without even noticing. It's like time is just flying by and you don't realize. This is really a key time for you to tap into your gifts of intuition and clairaudience, among other gifts, because I do think there's more here. You might receive messages during this time when you're in that flow state. You might receive messages about loved ones. You might even have like a little bit of a nudge to call someone, to reach out to someone. When you're in that flow state, you're way more connected there. You might even hear from passed on loved ones or hear from your angels or guides when you are flowing. Whatever that means to you. For some of you, it's like you're writing, it just flows. It's like you're in another world. You're in another state of mind, in another dimension, and time will just fly by while you're doing this thing. This is when you are very, very tapped in. This message of purification can be about you clearing and protecting your energy, which I do think is important to you, but I think it also speaks to the change and the purification that you're able to bring to the world around you through your gifts. Your energy is purifying and healing. Like we were talking about, ending old cycles, healing from past traumas. This is that energy of purification that you're able to bring to any situation that you're in. And this is how you help people. This is how you can use your gifts. This is how you use your gifts to benefit yourself and others. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you enjoyed this reading, if you resonated with any of these messages, don't forget to like it, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you again in another reading really soon. Bye.